So we are starting to see the green shoots of a recovery amongst the consumer. There is still a long way to go, though. And then we've got the threat of tariffs. But what really stands out in my mind is how DeepSeek and the China AI narrative has really caused this shift in sentiment. But is that enough to really ring-fence China's economy from the tariff risk?
There would definitely be still impact from tariffs, and then we're already seeing some impact on companies like Shein and Temu, where they rely on cheap prices and lack of taxes on them for the consumers in the U.S. to purchase them. But the DeepSeek movement is totally real. There is a lot of optimism in the air about AI, and it's not just about stocks rising. So we've seen a lot of the large tech companies, the stocks go up, and they've come down a little bit as people take profit. But then there is a palpable optimism there where people are saying, okay, let's have more investments going to even like tech startups. And then you read the news and they're talking about government agencies incorporating DeepSeek into their programs, which is very different from the US, where there's still more concern about privacy, how do we separate data, whereas in China, it seems to be like all out. And then different provinces also saying that we're going to set up AI funds just to invest in this new technology.
Chauwei, Mandy has a question.
Yeah, I was just going to follow up on this then. Now, given what you're saying, Chauwei, do you think that Chinese tech, specifically Chinese AI tech, is actually going to be dominant over US tech?
I would draw an analogy to kind of like the EV situation, right? So US tech is great for coming out with like brand new ideas, and they throw a lot of money to come out with something completely new. Whereas Chinese tech would be, okay, someone has done the hard work, and then we'll use lower costs to make it more commercializable. So for example, when I was in China, they would talking about buying EV cars with AI refrigerators in the cars, which can also act as food warmers. So I feel like China tech or China AI would come to dominate in the sense that there's going to be much more usage and adoption just because it's so cheap, and the government is very, very encouraging towards it.
Chauwei, if you're a global investor and you continue to believe in the loss of US exceptionalism, and maybe it comes back in the second half, maybe it doesn't, and this rotation into Europe and China. In the China context, do you express that through getting on the northbound train or the southbound train, A shares or 8 shares?
For us, we think that one thing is clear, that the government doesn't want the economy to collapse. So they just announced that the 4 banks would have 520 billion yuan, to boost capital, which would in turn boost lending. So for us, we want to play whatever is it that the government wants to sustain. It doesn't seem that they want to, create national champions again. So which is what we have seen in the past, where then they say that, okay, you've made too much money, then with common prosperity, you have to come down. So instead, we are saying that we're playing the China HS market in a quantitative way, where if there's enough volume and there's enough optimism in the market that people trade, then we can make money. I still think it is a little risky to say like, okay, I'm just going to bet on specific companies or even specific industries.